Great. Next up, we have the Q&A with the governing board and tech board. Thomas, you want to handle this?
Okay. We have to be very quick because I forgot to plug my computer. Yeah, no battery. Okay. So this session is about having an interactive session with both board, technical board and governing board. So I'm asking everybody from a board to join here. We'll be in front of the stage. Okay, you see, no battery. Okay. No, let's stand up. So the idea is to present ourselves, present what we are doing if you are not aware, and then you can ask any question. That's the time for asking whatever you want. Okay, maybe we can start with presentation. Yeah, thank you. Forgot the mic. Okay, you can start.
My name is Morten. I'm from SmartShare Systems. We are developing network appliances, so we are primarily a consumer of DPDK. And I'm on the technical board, and I'm trying to ensure that we don't wander off in too many weird directions and keep DPDK on track.
Hi, I am Hemant Agrawal. I am from NXP Semiconductor. NXP is a SoC provider, so we have been enabling DPDK for various of our networking SoCs. And currently, my focus is getting more towards the really low-end SoCs, where we can enable niche areas for industrial, auto, and others, and trying to put DPDK in such areas as well.
Hi, I'm Gal Cohen from NVIDIA. We are developing network accelerations and application acceleration devices. We have working PMDs with accelerations and hardware offloading capabilities. I'm in the DPDK governance board. Hi.
So Thomas Monjalon, I'm in the technical board from NVIDIA as well.
I'm Hunappa from ARM, mainly focused on enabling ARM architecture features in DPDK, looking at scalability. Typically, you find a lot of cores in a ARM-based CPU, so scalability is important for us. And we also focus on various queues from embedded systems to the servers. Thank you.
I'm Bruce Richardson. I'm from Intel, and I'm on the technical board project. And currently, I'm doing a lot of work on our NIC drivers, but in the past, I've also done lots of work enabling different CPU features and doing vectorization and performance tuning of drivers and various other things besides as well.
And I'm Stephen Heminger, and I work for myself, and I'm actually, made me think, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work myself out of a job. That means harden the DPDK, get it documented, get the infrastructure in a better place, that nobody has to bug me about it anymore.
Hey everyone, I'm Konstantin. Now I'm with Huawei, former Intel. I did quite a lot of things for DPDK. Right now we focused on enabling different features within Huawei Cloud using DPDK. That's pretty much it.
Hi, I'm Maxime from Red Hat. I work on the Fast Data Path team and contribute to Vios, Vert.io, and I also maintain Vios and Vert.io and baseband libraries.
Hello, I'm Mark Minier, and I'm with ARM. As Hanapa pointed out, our goal here is to make sure that as new technology comes to market with our partners, that we enable that with DPDK. So happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Kevin Trainer from Red Hat. I'm one of the LTS maintainers in DPDK, and I'm also involved in the Open vSwitch project, which is a consumer of DPDK.
Hi, I'm Aaron Knoll. I'm also with Red Hat. I am on the tech board primarily. I help coordinate all of the lab work, so like UNH, the public CI infrastructure, that kind of stuff. And I also work on OVS.
Yeah, Robin Giller. I work with Intel. I do product management for our infrastructure software in the network and edge. I'm on the governing board, the treasurer of the project, and I'm the vice chair of the governing board. The role on the governing board. Well, I work with the rest of the governing board on like setting the budget for the year. Work with existing members and future potential members on bringing in our regular income through subscriptions. We align on what we're going to invest our money on. The governing board, we meet on a more or less a monthly basis, and we vote on kind of key directions that the project is going to go in. Yeah, that's kind of essentially it, I think.
What's the tech board doing? Good question. Okay, I picked up the mic, I get landed with it, thanks. So yeah, the technical board, we're responsible, I suppose, for the overall technical governance and technical code quality of the project, amongst probably a few other things as well, which I'm sure somebody else will fill in if I forget. So we would meet every 2 weeks. Our meetings are public and they're open. We meet on Zoom, and anybody who's not on the technical board but who has an interest in technical aspects of DPDK and the running of things like the mailing list, any discussions that are happening on that mailing list, patches outstanding in the Git repository, things like that, you're more than welcome to join those technical board calls, especially if there's a topic that you're interested in that's being discussed currently on the mailing list. Oftentimes the technical board would actually, if there's something controversial happening, we would discuss that at our meetings in person and try to reach some sort of consensus or perhaps give guidance back to the authors on the mailing list. There's also, I'd also say it's not directly related to the technical board, but there are also community calls held on Jitsi there every week, which is discussing outstanding patches and what the state of play is there, and they're also open to the public. So there are a number of technical calls that any contributor to DPDK can join in and give their contributions. So technical board, in terms of conferences like these, it's also the technical board that is doing the work of reviewing the submissions and giving feedback to the authors and deciding what talks are here today. So if you don't like any of the talks, you can blame the technical board, except for me, because I was actually on holidays whenever the decision was made. So I'm disclaiming everything for that. I'm off the hook there. What else does the technical board do? Did I cover most of it? Hanapa, missing?
Putting in new projects like Groot.
Right, yeah, whenever new projects like Groot come along, they come to the technical board and we will discuss them and assess them on their technical merits and see if they fit in with the overall technical direction of DPDK itself. And then those projects also then just get a sign off from the governing board too, just in case, for things like licensing and things like that. So that's most of it, I think.
Yeah, and there are some cross-board activities. So the important thing to understand is that the main role of the governing board is to manage the budget. So anything related to budget configuration is for voting in the governing board. And sometimes the governing board needs some technical input to better understand where to put our money. So there are some cross-board activity because of that. We have the technical board as a representative in governing board meeting. The funny thing is that we are rotating. It's every 3 months that's someone different. Currently it's Konstantin, your representative. So, for instance, what do we do with the budget? Robin already presented it, but for instance, we have a lab in UNH for testing. And so the governing board decides how much to put in this investment, and the technical board helps to define the priorities in the lab. You see, this is how we work together. And there are other activities like we have a technical writer, so it's also a cross-board activity. What else? That's basically marketing, yeah. All this kind of thing. So we both board work together, but with a different angle. I hope it's clear.
And also to say that, not to do with the boards working together, but for the community as a whole, I mean, if there is anything that you're looking for input technically, the technical board is always happy to have, you know, questions referred to us, and we can maybe discuss them at our meetings if people are looking for input or suggestions on their work. If they're looking at something complicated that they're trying to integrate in DPDK, or people think that, you know, maybe we haven't documented things well enough, or that our guidelines are unclear, or anything like that, you know, raise it in the community, and if you want, you can also refer to the technical board as well. And also keep an eye out, as well as the meetings being open, the technical board, we also publish the minutes and the output of our meetings to the DPDK mailing list. So if you search back, you should find lists of all the things that we've discussed over the years, recorded in emails posted to the mailing list. We try to be as, and also on the website, are they all linked on the website too? Yes. So we're trying to be as transparent as possible, because, you know, we're your board trying to just make sure that the project runs technically very smoothly. So we're as transparent about it as we possibly can.
Yeah, if you want to be aware of what happens technically in new features, etc., it's all in the mailing list. But if you want to know what happens in the governance, it's better to look at the website and see the meeting minutes. So there are meeting minutes for tech board, but there are also meeting minutes for the CI activity led by Patrick. So you can find all of that on the website, and few reports also from the governing board are in the blog, the blog part of the website. Time for questions? Anything you would like to change in general in the governance, or any activity you would like to start? Don't be shy. Do you believe that everything is working well? Impossible. Aaron, you have a question.
So on other projects that have technical boards, there's usually elections to choose who, you know, is on the board and making those technical decisions. DPDK doesn't have that currently. Do we think it would be a good idea? Should we talk about it, or?
Okay, my understanding. If you agree, I can talk for the governing board. That's very easy. In the governing board, each member represents his company, which is giving some budget, which is participating in the budget. So just because you are a giving company, you are a representative in the governing board. I don't think it's supposed to change.
No.
Probably no. It's part of the charter, etc. Now, in the technical board, that's more fuzzy. Why are we member of the technical board? I think that's a question from Aaron. And at start, it was few well-known developers who already did a lot of activity with some expertise in some areas, and also those who want to be part of the technical board. That's also criteria. And then we have extended the board a little year after year when we find someone who has a missing expertise or something like that. There is no clear criteria. So
the other thing is we've made a conscious choice to make sure that it's balanced between the contributing companies. So there's a conscious choice to keep the, you know, not have the technical board be subsumed by either ARM, Intel, Red Hat, or any. But we want representatives from all the major players, but we don't want to have anybody feel like they have control.
The technical board membership is not tied to the company. Like you can be a member, move to a different company, and you are still a member. But so it's not tied. But at the same time, we don't want a board where all the members are coming from the same company. So that's why we have some restrictions.
It's in the charter. and that's actually in the charter. There's, if you read the DPDK project charter, there is some text there describing the technical board and the restrictions on it, and I think it's 40% of the board can't be from. There's a hard limit anyway to make sure that no one company or grouping can dominate the technical board. Everybody's hungry for lunch.
You are hungry? Okay. Any question about the events? Are you satisfied with this event's location? Well, because we are also both boards are also deciding for the event organization. So if you want to propose something about the event, something to change or different location, etc., different period of the year for the events, that's the right time to give feedback. You are all satisfied?
So Thomas, it's a good point, but I mean, now DPDK is a very mature project, I would say, and the issue is to jump from event to event. So there was one in Wien from one with many topics. There is that one which is in Montreal. It's difficult to follow all of them. Could DPDK try to be, I wouldn't say not satellite, but to be around some other, let's say, major events, so we avoid focusing on one project versus the other? Because as we were talking about OpenSSL, there was some other talk about OpenSSL. Yeah. We have some impact with the kernel. To be good to be closer to some other kernel discussions. So I think we are missing some more integration with wider communities.
Yeah. So in the past we tried to find some co-location with other events. It would be beneficial because if we are co-locating with, as you said, with other developers in other projects which are related to DPDK, it could help it could help working together. That's true. But in general, the problem is that we don't have the same expectation for events and venue. Like for instance, if you collocate with an event which require a big fee for entrance, it's not compatible with us because our events are almost free. Yeah. But that's true. We should continue to look for it. In the governing board, do you have some input about that?
I think it's a good idea for us to look into next year. What's on the calendar? What could we look to intercept with, and just make it an option, and then we can, take a vote as a governing board on that being one of the options amongst ones like how we run the events today. It's a good idea.
Thank you. We can argue. Budget. We travel once instead of going twice. Yeah. We have visa issue, so we solve visa for one event instead of many events. So there are many pro and cons.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So, what do you think are sort of the short and long-term priorities for DPDK right
now? So, I talked a bit about it in the opening session yesterday. DPDK's bread and butter is we have new devices that come from all of our respective companies, and those new devices need to be enabled in DPDK. That's, just ticking over the project. So that continues unabated. Then we have these kind of like strategic standard aligned APIs, things like CryptoDev or RTFlow or whatever, and we work on them as a community to drive those out into the industry, reduce the number of different mechanisms we have for getting access to all of our hardware, and that needs to continue on as well. And then I think Ben talked a bit about it today as well. It's we've had some interesting talks, like is John still here? Yeah, like, you know, brand new application for DPDK. Really interesting talk. Lots of opportunity to leverage that same kind of implementation in other markets that we're not addressing today. So having a look at, you know, user stories, how users are taking advantage of DPDK or could in the future, and then that'll help us to evolve the project as a code base. So you know, there's definite like growth potential in you know, markets that were not traditional DPDK markets, and I'd love to see us put more effort into things like deployments in the cloud, or you know, how does DPDK help with end-to-end AI applications and use cases. Plenty of growth opportunity for the project in those kind of areas. That's my input, Thomas. Maybe Tech Board has more.
Yeah, I think on the technical side, typically it's driven by the contributors. I think this event kind of gives a view of where it's heading. Performance has been the paramount for DPDK, and I think, you know, with all the new technology that's coming up in terms of multi-die CPUs, etc., we got to keep up with the performance. You know, how do we make sure that DPDK works best on those platforms? I think that's going to be like a goal forever, in my view, for DPDK. Having said that, you know, going into typically DPDK has been associated with networking gear, but it's good to see that DPDK is being used elsewhere in other workloads. I would say we need to focus on those upcoming workloads is what I think.
I was going to agree with you, but also say the challenge is, it's always been the challenge is keeping the performance and having usability. Because as you can see, as we add this complexity, the usability goes down, yet we're always striving to have better documentation, better infrastructure to keep the usability up. So,
one of the things that it's not only adding new features and so on. One of the key things that we focus on in the tech board is ensuring that DPDK remains stable and reliable. And one of the things that we do to expand on that is expand on testing. So we add more and more testing stuff that's already there, but testing it and having it in the CI ensures that it remains that way and it remains stable. And that's a long-term goal. It's a short-term goal. It's a super long-term goal. So reliability and stability is really, really important.
Just want to add one more point. One of the short-term goal is to improve the usability of the DPDK by enhancing the documentation and creating more and more use cases, sample examples, so that it's become very easier to use DPDK.
Yeah, when we discuss about the priorities in the tech board, we keep saying that we should focus more on higher layers, because today DPDK is really related to drivers, low layers, and it's related to the talk we had just before, when you want to use DPDK to accelerate, but you need the TCP, TLS layers, etc. So you go to VPP, and maybe we can provide better solutions inside dpdk.org, with helping with building TCP stacks, TLS stacks, etc. All new protocols which are coming nowadays.
Yeah, I completely agree, and this is why it's great hearing things like Grout, is not how we pronounce it. Yeah, there was a little discussion about how to pronounce it at the last tech board meeting we had too. But yeah, it's the way we want to go. But just to re-emphasize a point that was made earlier as well, DPDK is driven by contributions. You know, we don't have a section for, you know, feature requests that somebody magically picks up and does it. Instead, it's, you know, we rely on people actually doing the work, sending the patches. Then also, always, we need people helping reviewing patches, because You know, we do have a large patch backlog, and we do need good reviews on them. And so we're relying on contributors as well as contributing new stuff that you want to get in. But to help get that in, we need you to also to review other people's stuff so that the whole community works better. You know, so that we all work together to help drive the product forward, get these new features or these new hardware drivers or whatever it is in. It is all community driven. It's up to all of us to try and do that, not just the maintainers to do the reviews or to suggest the features. It's the community is to bring the features, and the community needs to help with the reviews as well. So just to draw attention to that.
You don't have to be a maintainer to review a patch, is what he's saying. Yeah, that's true, completely. All eyes are good. We may have different skill sets, but anybody who can see anything is great to see.
Yeah, I think that the point is that we perhaps need to make it more explicit. You know, patches welcome, contributions welcome, but reviews also needed. Yeah. You know, to encourage that. So we're open to suggestions too.
And testing too. And if you don't think you understand something, if you think you can reproduce it and test it for somebody, that helps a lot too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Or are we all just stand here?
Okay. If there is no other question, I just want to thank Evie here and Bridget, who are the organizer from Linux Foundation. Thank you.